Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nur Hafidah binti Muhammad Nasir. Matrix number CF190050. I am a friend want to present our project subject Occupational Safety and Health. We are from Group 12. The title of our group is Confined Spaces. Our group consists of 5 members, which is me, Nur Hafidah binti Muhammad Nasir, Nur Hanisa binti Saidin, Nur Hazika Izzati binti Hasnul Hadi, Nur Hanis Akilah binti Muhammad Nur, and Nur Khanisa binti Abdul Rajid. Introduction. According to the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1994, industries must hire a qualified safety and health officer to handle workplace safety and health issues. The dedicated group of safety and health officers is responsible of enforcing and implementing statutory requirements as well as providing technical advice and safety and health education. The types of safety and health hazards. First is hazardous chemicals, scaffolding hazards, fall from height, struck falling objects, accidents involving machineries, electrical accidents, workplace harassment, lockout or tagout, poor housekeeping, and confined spaces. Confined spaces. Confined space is a fully or partially enclosed area that is not primarily designed or intended for continuous human occupancy. The examples of confined space is silos, hoppers, utility vaults, tanks, water supply towers, sewers, pipes, and others. A confined space hazard assessment and control program should be implemented in the workplace to effectively manage the hazards associated with working in a confined space.
Hi, my name is Nuhanisa binti Saidin. I will present the methodology of this project. Hierarchy is the basis of occupational safety and health. The activities consist of hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control. Hierarchy should be finished first before begin any works, especially in construction industry where have major accidents and injuries happen. Hierarchy is a technique to become aware of any dangers at workplace. This is the flowchart of hierarchy process by Department of Occupational Safety and Health, DOSH. Identifying potential hazard is the first step toward a safer workplace. Hazard can be identified based on potential causes such as machinery, equipment, work environment, and material use. The identified hazard can be divided into 3 areas: health hazard, safety hazard, and environmental hazard. Risk is defined as the likelihood of a hazard, and a workplace risk assessment involves the process of calculating the likelihood and severity of the identified hazard. The relative risk can be calculated by using the formula. Relative risk equal to L multiplied S. L is likelihood and S is severity. Risk control aims to eliminate or reduce the hazard from their sources. The risk control hierarchy are risk elimination, risk substitution, engineering control, administrative control, and personal protective equipment. To choose the best risk management, evaluate and select short-term and long-term management. This is the flowchart of the activities for confined workplace.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hazika Izzati binti Hasnul Hadi. My matric number is CF190056, and today I will present about the chapter 3 of our group project, which is talk about the hierarchy table, content of type of hazard, control measure, risk estimation and risk evaluation, and the last one is metric use table. Okay, let's start with the type of hazard. The first one is the physical hazard. This is the most common and unsafe condition from environmental factor that can harm an employee with injury, illness, and health. Second one is biological hazard. It includes virus, bacteria, insects, animals that can cause adverse health impact to worker. The third one is chemical hazard. Chemical hazard are present when a worker is exposed to any chemical preparation in the workplace in any form like solid, liquid, or gas. The next one is mechanical hazard, created by the use of exposure to either power or manually operated equipment, machinery, and plant. The fifth one is the psychosocial hazard. It includes those that can have an adverse effect of an mental health or well-being, like sexual harassment, victimization, stress, and workplace violence. And the last one is ergonomic hazard. This is a result of physical factor that can result in musculoskeletal injuries. Next one is the control measure. Control is defined as the removal or inactivation of hazard in such a way that it does not constitute a risk to workers who must access an area or work on equipment as a part of their regular employment. Hazard should be handled with at the site of origin. The closer a control is to be the hazard source, the better the result is. We can see here this is the hierarchy of control, which is the most effective to the least effective. The first one is elimination, which is physically remove the hazard. Second one is substitution, that should be replace the hazard. The third one is engineering control, which is isolate people from the hazard. Next is administrative control, which is we can change the way people work. And the last one is PPE, to protect the worker with personal protective equipment. Okay, let's move to the risk estimation and risk evaluation. The first one is risk matrix table. This table contains of severity and likelihood, which is range 1 to 5. And the risk matrix table contains 3 colors, which is red for high, yellow for medium, and green for low. It can be presented in a variety of ways to communicate the result of analysis, to make decision of risk control, and it is a very effective way to communicating the distribution of the risk throughout a plant and area of workplace. This is the likelihood rating table, which is assessing likelihood is based on worker experience, analysis or measurement, and it ranges from rare to almost certain. Next one is severity table. The severity can be divided into 5 categories that are based upon an increasing level of severity to an individual has, like 1 is negligible, 2 is minor, 3 is moderate, 4 is major, and 5 is catastrophic. And the last one is the action for risk level. It contains 3 levels of action, which is low for acceptable, medium for tolerable, and high for not acceptable. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurhani Sakilah binti Muhammad Nur and my matrix number is CF190170. I will be presenting about hierarchy table which involve 4 work activities and 12 hazards. Firstly, entering confined space. The first hazard is physical injuries due to slip and fall into manhole. The risk classification is medium. Second hazard is toxification due to inhalation of toxic gases. The risk classification is high. Third hazard is electrocut due to faulty wiring or electric leakage. The risk classification is high. Last hazard is body cut by sharp object and the risk classification is medium. Next, second work activity is mobilize material or equipment into confined space. First hazard is hand injuries might be occur when the workers want to unload materials. The risk classification is low. Second hazard is hit by moving object. The risk classification is medium, and last hazard is sudden body injuries due to excessive load weight, and the risk classification is low. Third working activity is working in confined space. The first hazard is exposure to sun, and the risk classification is low. Second hazard is buried alive due to slope collapse, earth, solid material, or fluid. The risk classification is high. Third hazard is inhalation of carbon monoxide, and the risk classification is medium. Last working activities is inspection or finish up and exit from confined space. First hazard is trip or fall into manhole during inspection. The risk classification is medium. Second hazard is failure or collapse ground or material. The risk classification is also medium. Third hazard for last working activity is space constraint, and the risk classification is based on the hierarchy table. The most critical safety hazard is getting buried alive by a falling slope, earth, solid material, or liquid. The risk has a score of 15, which means that it is quite dangerous. Many lives are lost because people are buried alive in the trenches. The risk of this kind of work is higher because the falling soil can bury or crush anyone in its way, killing them by suffocation or causing internal crush injuries. Next, the most critical health hazards are hydrogen peroxide, acetaldehyde, illuminine, and methylene chloride. Hydrogen peroxide can cause fatal if swallowed. Acetaldehyde can cause severe eye irritation and can cause lung injury. Illuminine can cause moderate skin irritation, while methylene chloride can cause skin and eye irritation and also may cause mild central nervous system depression. Lastly, control measures for critical hazards involve elimination and substitution. administrative control, and personal protective equipment. That's all from
Assalamualaikum and hello, my name is Nur Khalisa and I will be talking about the conclusion. So hazards are caused by a broad selection of issues such as hazardous equipment, worksite conditions, or risky strategy. Working within a confined space, as shown on my right, can be associated with critical safety hazards like electrocution due to defective wiring and being buried alive due to slow collapse. Meanwhile, the critical health risks include hazardous chemical exposure. Therefore, proper training and the use of protective gear must be done. For example, protective clothes should be worn to avoid electrical shocks and burns, just like in the GIF above, and dealing with electricity. Suitable respiratory protection should be prepared when dealing with hazardous chemicals, followed by providing safety signs. Thus, maintaining a safe working environment is very crucial because there is always the risk of an accident. No work environment can be fully free from injuries and danger. And that is all from us. Thank you.